Facts time! Here are 50 amazing facts to blow your mind. According to the Journal of Applied Psychology, an analysis of hundreds of basketball halftime speeches from various high school and college games showed that the more negative the coach was at halftime, the better the team played in the second half. The results were true even if the team was already up at halftime. Mark Davis, who's the owner of the Oakland Raiders football team, frequently eats at P.F. Chang's, so do I, drives a 1997 Dodge Caravan, and still uses a 2003 Nokia phone. The reason that's significant is he's worth $500 million. A survey conducted by toilet paper manufacturer Charmin showed that the average US citizen uses around 57 sheets of toilet paper a day. At that rate, someone will have used 1,532,160 sheets by the time they get to 80 years old. The average household in the US flushes away about 80,000 sheets of toilet paper a year. It's a lot of poopy. When the explorers of the Lewis and Clark expedition became constipated on their journey, they took a remedy called Dr. Rush's bilious pill. This pill was composed of 10 grains of calomel, which contains mercury. Experts were able to locate where exactly they camped in Montana by finding signatures of mercury in their pit latrines. Before they set off on their journey, American President Thomas Jefferson informed Lewis and Clark that they would possibly encounter mountains of salt, Welsh-speaking Indians, and herds of woolly mammoths and giant ground sloths. They did not encounter any of these things, however, but Lewis did find 178 species of plants that were unknown, as well as 122 new animals such as grizzly bears and coyotes. The United States has a presidential yacht called the USS Sequoia that was used from the Herbert Hoover administration until Jimmy Carter sold it in 1977. It had an elevator for Franklin Roosevelt, but Lyndon Johnson replaced it with a liquor bar. A study from Stanford University in 2017 showed that artificial intelligence is capable of accurately guessing whether someone is gay or straight. A computer algorithm they created could distinguish between gay and straight men 81% of the time. For women, it was 74% of the time. The largest wave ever recorded occurred on July 10, 1958 in Lituya Bay, Alaska, after a magnitude 7.7 earthquake struck the region and caused a tsunami. One of the waves that were created measured a maximum height of 524 meters. In 2001, the FBI informed actor Russell Crowe that Al-Qaeda was planning to kidnap him as part of a cultural destabilization plot. He required extra security on the set of his movies A Beautiful Mind and Master and Commander: The Far Side of the World. The FBI also followed him around for nearly 2 years. Florida passed a bill in 1967 that allowed Disney World to plant a nuclear power plant. Even though they had never built one and do not currently intend to, the law still stands. Author Virginia Wade has made a nice career for herself by writing and publishing Bigfoot erotica novels on Amazon Kindle. You cannot make this stuff up. Bob Barker, the legendary host of The Price is Right, trained karate with actor Chuck Norris for 8 years. Iconic guitarist Eric Clapton is the only musician in history to be inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame 3 times. The first was when he was a member of the Yardbirds in 1992. The second came when Cream was inducted in 1993, and the third in 2000 when he was inducted as a solo artist. Michael Jackson's pet chimpanzee Bubbles is still alive today at 36 years old and has been living at the Center for Great Apes Sanctuary in Wauchula, Florida since 2005. When Michael Jackson owned Bubbles, the young chimp slept in a crib and ate candy at Neverland Ranch. However, when it became fully mature and aggressive, he was taken away by an animal trainer to ensure the safety of Jackson. There's an S&M gym in Japan called Himitsu no Gym, which means secret gym, where your personal trainer is a professional dominatrix who controls your diet and workout. A trial session costs 7,800 yen. Bananas are the top selling item at Walmart and have been for years. Around the world, the company sells, brace yourself, 453,592,370 kilograms of bananas per year and 14.5 kilograms every second of the day. That's a lot of bananas. In 2008, a conjunction of the Moon, Venus, and Jupiter formed a smiley face over the sky in a rare event. It was visible from all parts of the world, even in cities with light pollution such as New York City. Disposable diapers in Norway are the cheapest in all of Europe, and many Russians smuggle them over the northern border. During the Middle Ages, the verb poop meant to produce a short blast of sound with a horn. According to the Oxford English Dictionary, this changed in the late 1600s, and it meant to break wind. If you cut a piece of fresh garlic in half and put it in a plastic bag, then put your bare foot in it, after an hour you will be able to taste and smell the garlic. This is because it contains a molecule called allicin, which can permeate through the skin of your foot and travel up your bloodstream to the mouth and nose. Since 1954, more Burger King fast food restaurants have burned down than any other fast food chain. According to the Wall Street Journal, 554 million tacos from the fast food chain Jack in the Box are eaten every year. A small minority of people have a natural immunity to tear gas, and it's actually possible to build up a tolerance for it over time. Members of the US Army undergo tear gas exposure during their basic training for this reason. When the United States Air Force was testing their ejector seats for the B-58 Hustler in 1950, they used Himalayan and American black bears as test subjects. They would sedate the bears and strap them into the seats. Even though some of them suffered broken bones, all of them survived until they were euthanized and dissected. A biker gang in Denmark called Black Cobra once stole 120 boxes of almond tarts, punch rolls, apple crowns, and brownies from a delivery truck in 2010. On July 2nd, 1982 in Los Angeles, a man named Larry Walters attached 45 helium-filled weather balloons to a lawn chair and took off from San Pedro. He flew into controlled airspace near LAX airport and landed on some power lines in Long Beach 45 minutes later. He was also unhurt, but he did have to pay a $1,500 fine. 90 new baseballs are required at the beginning of every MLB game, and between 60 and 70 are used because they're replaced after they are scuffed by dirt or grass. The average lifespan of a baseball in the MLB is only 6 pitches. In Honolulu, Hawaii, so many cases of spam are being stolen that it's starting to be considered a form of organized crime. The Guinness World Record for the most recent test of a nuclear bomb goes to North Korea on May 25th, 2009. The raccoon dog needs to load up on food before winter arrives because it's the only member of the canine family that hibernates. NBA superstar LeBron James is left-handed even though he shoots the ball with his right hand. Hall of Famer Larry Bird of the Boston Celtics was also a player who was left-handed but shot the ball with their right. During a Canadian fair in 1956, the Canadian Army put on an exhibition to show a bazooka type of weapon. After testing it, there was an incident where something bad happened, so yeah, they don't use that weapon anymore. The state of Arizona passed a safe haven law in 2001 declaring that a parent is legally allowed to anonymously leave their newborn baby at a safe haven such as a fire station, hospital, or church, as long as it did it in less than 72 hours of it being born. Artist Michael Heiser has been building a massive piece of earth art in the Nevada desert since 1972. The sculpture is called City and covers a space of 2 kilometers by 0.4 kilometers. Heiser drew inspiration for the work after he visited the Yucatan and studied Chichen Itza. The work of art won't be open to the public until 2020. It's estimated that 28% of dogs aged 11 to 12 years old have cognitive dysfunction syndrome, which is similar to Alzheimer's. About 60% of dogs that are 15 to 16 years old are also present with signs of the disease. According to the Down syndrome program at Boston Children's Hospital, a 25-year-old woman has a 1 in 1,200 chance of giving birth to a baby with Down syndrome. A 35-year-old mother has a 1 in 350 chance in having one, and a 40-year-old mother has a 1 in 100 chance, and a mother who's 49 years old has a 1 in 10 chance. Our skin has the ability to smell and can actually heal itself when exposed to certain ingredients such as sandalwood oil. There's been a Korean culture called fan death, which means that a running electric fan in a closed room with unopened windows will be fatal. However, there's no evidence to support this belief, but they do believe it. Barbie and Ken actually broke up in 2004 after being together since 1961. Ken eventually won her back though in 2011. Isn't that sweet? There's only one place on Earth where 4 different countries meet at a quadrupoint. They're the African countries of Namibia, Botswana, Zimbabwe, and Zambia. There are about 18,000 trees of all different kinds in New York City's Central Park. Eel is always cooked before eating because their blood is poisonous. Just a small amount of eel's blood is capable of killing a person. Raw eel should never be eaten. According to a Gallup poll from 1966, 66% of Americans had an unfavorable opinion of civil rights activist Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., which was actually a 26% increase from the poll taken in 1963. There was a spot in the Black Sea that preserved shipwrecks so well that scientists were able to see the builders' chisel marks in the wood. They discovered 41 well-preserved ships that were from the 9th century until the 19th century. In June of 1959, the US Navy mailed 3,000 letters from the Postal Service via a guided missile that was fired towards an air station in Mayport, Florida. The attempt was successful and reached the station in 22 minutes. A landmine that was planted during World War I in 1917 was struck by lightning on June 17, 1955 and killed a cow. This made the cow a casualty of war 38 years later. Caller ID tripled in the United States following the theatrical release of the 1996 horror movie Scream, a film centered around a killer who would anonymously call his victims before, well, ending them. There have been 7 divorce settlements that have been worth more than $1 billion. The most recent one was the Amazon founder Jeff Bezos and his wife Mackenzie, which was $35 billion. Chess has been banned in Islam by Saudi Arabia's Grand Mufti Abdulaziz Al-Sheikh because it's believed to be a form of gambling and a waste of time and money. He also claimed that it causes hatred and enmity between the players. The Italian mafia trafficked nuclear waste from the 80s until the 1990s and ended up dumping it in Somalia. And that's it. Thank you guys for subscribing, and a very special thanks to all of my channel members, especially the ones that you see on your screen right now. Every one of you helps keep my channel going. Thanks again, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye. 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 Bye.